Mr. Concerned African?
The dream is there's a breaking news that Africa has just discovered the vaccine that will eradicate COVID-19. I bet you hear me right. Of someone ears is itching. I repeat
Yeah,
again.
yes, Aichi.
I repeat again. Break, 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 break. Africa has just been on the leading role and has just found the vaccine that eradicates COVID-19. It's not just stopping COVID-19, it's eradicating it. That's how powerful it is. It is not 95%, it is 99.9%. That's how powerful it
Oh,
is.
my goodness, we thank God.
Mm. Now, wrap me up with that. Have you heard anything?
Yes, before I went to bed last night, you sent me the breaking news title. Breaking news: AU, that's African Union, has announced that they have developed a vaccine made by the people of Africa. And that was so searing to my spirit when I heard that we have also been able to uh, develop a vaccine. Because even though it's a breaking news, it's not a breaking news. Every major country in this world right now has developed their own vaccine. So it was a breaking news to me. However, I looked through Google and whatever. I didn't see any breaking news. So can you just throw more light on this breaking news thing that you are talking about today?
The breaking news is it is very disappointing that the whole world and other continental part of the world have discovered these vaccines, and yet African leader is gladly waiting for Europe and North America to give them a share of their vaccine. That is the breaking news. It is sad in my heart that I'm breaking this news to you. It is the other way around. It is not the news that any African wanted, but where we are is where we are. We are waiting on Europe. I repeat, we are waiting on Europe to give us a vaccine. But Europe had just said, some of the ministers in Europe, a typical one was on Sunday from the Minister of International Trade in Britain. He said, no, they've not been mean with vaccine because they've been criticized by other media sections that they've been mean with vaccine. They've over-ordered the vaccine and they're not giving part of the vaccine to the poorer countries, as they always say, poor country. But the thing is, they said they want to vaccine at least 1/3 or almost entirely its citizens in Europe before they can obviously give us some part of the vaccine. So we're waiting. If the vaccine is not enough in Europe and North America, we are not getting vaccine. And unfortunately, the number of the COVID-19 situation in Africa is rising and it's becoming very unsustainable numbers at this present moment. That is the breaking news.
It is a breaking news indeed that our leaders, after 12 full months of coronavirus pandemic raging over entire universe, each and every country is putting their resources together, is putting all their scientists together. And at this moment, after 12 full months of this pandemic, our continent, that's the continent of Africa, has not been able to put their resources together and has not been able to lead, not even one president, one so-called dictator in one country in Africa have even put it upon themselves that this is an important thing that I have to put all aside my personal benefit, my personal ideology, than rather bring all the continent together and see how best we as people of Africa can come together and find cure for this pandemic that everybody and every country in the world is actually putting their resources together and having to deal with this menace. So it is a breaking news indeed that our leaders don't have vision. If they do have vision, it's an impaired vision that they don't see far. If they do see far for this one and so many things that we'll be talking about on this channel, it's so important to me that the leaders don't have vision, because after 12 full months, not even one research institution on the continent has come out together to say that we were able to develop a vaccine which is even 10% potent or efficacy, right? So it is a breaking news indeed, and I don't know where this breaking news will lead us. Will it going to cause our leaders to rethink and reimagine the continent of Africa, or is just going to be one of those issues that you're just going to gross our minds and think about something else which is so not important to the people and the continent?
You know, it has been decades and decades when Africa has, have issues with like malaria and polio and the rest of it. And I mean, over the decades, it has been vaccines coming from Europe. And it seems to me that most of the leaders are very content with when their citizens get ill or sick, the solutions normally come from the West. If you remember Ebola not so long ago, it took Europe and America to obviously come to our rescue. And if you remember a cyclone or some disaster that took place somewhere between Zimbabwe and Mozambique, it took the United States and the Royal Navy force to dispatch food to us. And even eventually some African countries came with food to be given to the Mozambicans on the other side. But the lead was first of all from Europe and the rest of it. I mean, these things have been happening on quite occasions, and it's really getting to our nerve. I mean, today I know we're talking about COVID-19, we're talking about the vaccine, which is our central topic. But it has been decades. We're not that young. We obviously fully aware to some of this situation. And COVID-19 has come. It's like Africans, it's like business for them as usual. The leaders don't obviously confront the issue as it's supposed to be confronted. And I'm absolutely sure that to just end the United States presidential debate and campaigns, most of the campaigns was actually focused on COVID-19. And some European leaders here were lashed on their response. They respond to coronavirus, but citizens actually criticized them that the response wasn't good enough. But my question is, what was our response? Our response in Africa was absolutely zero. It was next to nothing. And like you said again, let us even come with something that's 5 to 10%. Not even 10%, so at least we tried, but we're not there yet.
Right.
There wasn't nothing at all that we can obviously even count upon that, there's a lab in South Africa, tried. There's a lab in Accra. There is a lab in Kigali. There is a lab in Gaborone, in Botswana. They tried, and obviously it wasn't good enough. At least we would know that an effort was made. There's absolutely nothing. You go to West, nothing. You go to East Africa, nothing. You go to Central Africa, nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I mean, it's about time that we talk about this.
This saddens my heart so much. Concern. It is a big issue to me that I cannot wrap my mind around it. That it has not actually occurred to any of the leaders on the continent. After 3 months of this pandemic, that they saw that this is not going anywhere. After 4 months, after 5 months, 6 months, and there hasn't been any leadership. Zero leadership. If I say zero leadership, it's even I'm being lenient on them. It's some negative leadership on our presidents and our healthcare ministers who are gallivanting on the continent of Africa with all kinds of benefit that they have with their ministry. It is very sad at this moment that we are talking right now that the breaking news actually is that Africa has not been able, and this saddens my heart. this saddens my heart, that Africa has not been able, not even one country, not even one university laboratory, to come out to say that we have been able to look at the genetic sequence of this virus, and this is what we can do. So I'm so sad. If you can hear from my voice and my facial expression that when we come to some of these issues, some of us, we are apolitical, right? So we think like leaders on the continent should be able to stand up and come together as one mother African citizens and put their resources together that, okay, with everything that is happening around us right now, how can we take care of our citizens? And this is my concern.
That's absolutely a genuine concern. As a true son of the continent, or as a true woman or a daughter of the continent, if this issue does not bother you, if this issue does not wake you up at night, then I don't know what else will wake you up at night. It's a genuine concern that the continent of 1 billion cannot look for a common solution to this issue. It's an issue that we should tackle as a continent-wide situation, because if you look at other continents, it looks as if it's a continent-wide approach. That's how they're handling it. So Africans should look in within themselves and now turn themselves around. That why can't we, look for a solution, an African solution, be it herbs, be it our food, be it whatever. I'm absolutely sure that if enough resources is thrown at this COVID, I'm absolutely sure that someone in Africa will find the answer. We're very intelligent people. I'm not going to write that offers. I'm not going to take that offers. But I'm sure that what is missing or what is lacking, it is a research center that you just mentioned 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, upon your points, that none of the research centers have come up with this issue. And I'm sure that some of the research centers will be thinking about it. But I'm sure that the hindrance within their response will be funded. And that is money. And this is money that we have.
You just said it right. I don't think it's a money issue, it's a leadership issue. It's leadership. Our leaders lack vision.
Absolutely.
Our leaders lack vision. And for me, as a proud child of the continent, I will say it without missing words, that our leaders lack vision. This whole thing is lack of leadership on our presidents and our ministers and all those technocrats who lead all those departments, and they have nothing to offer us. So please, if you are listening, and I know you'll be listening, and I know we'll be coming out with most of these things that will be coming out from this platform, will be something that will trigger something in your mind and your thinking pattern that there is something that you are doing that is not right, and you need to reimagine it. Thank you for listening to us. Click the bell over here to subscribe, and the notification bell as well, that our next video will come right to you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.